Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to be giving you a bit of an overview of the Office of the Vice President, Equity and Community Inclusion in terms of how we make Ryerson an inclusive place, and that inclusion begins at home, as is the title of my presentation. Before I begin, I'll just go to my second slide here, which will be the land acknowledgement portion. Just to give you the overview of the land acknowledgement. Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, the Mississaugas, and the Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and to respect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. Chimigwech. We offer the land acknowledgement, similar to what happens even in your high schools, that gives an understanding that land acknowledgements and the First Nations peoples and First Peoples were part of our history. And sometimes that history is missing from some of our conversations in our various places, whether it be classrooms or otherwise. And this is just an opportunity for us to bring it back so that we can start to look at understanding that we are on colonized territory, that this land acknowledgement speaks specifically to the responsibility and understanding of differences around us. So the fact that everybody has a different story and everybody has a journey that they've been on, your story is going to be different from someone else's. But the element of what we're trying to do at Ryerson is to create a space where there's a sharing of the space around what happens for each of us. You'll see in this picture as well, there's the Grandfather Eagle staff. This is a ceremonial flag. It supersedes all other flags on our campus. So you will see Grandfather Eagle staff at a number of our large ceremonies. So whether it be at convocation, at Remembrance Day ceremonies, all over the campus. Basically, this was a gift given to Ryerson by the First Nations community that said, we're on the right track. We're working in the right way to be able to work with our First Nations communities, our First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. We're moving in a good way. However, we also recognize that there's still a lot of work left to do. So in that said, if we go to slide 3, the slide actually speaks to, I'm not different from you, I'm different like you. What that means again is each of you sitting wherever you're sitting and engaging in this conversation has a story to tell as to why you're here, what it is that you've done to reach this point. And we want to be able to create a space at Ryerson where it allows you to bring your full self into the environment. So rather than the environment being created and you come in and fit the environment, we're trying to change the environment in such a way that it actually meets all of your needs. So creating that culturally relevant material relating to who's in classrooms and how are we actually making sure the material speaks to you. On our next slide is the mandate for my office. We have a very strong mandate of maintaining the presence of our indigenous peoples and really ensuring that the values of equity, diversity, and inclusion are embedded into everything that happens at Ryerson. Ryerson's academic plan mentions our values in such a way that there are 14 major values for the institution. 7 of those are related directly to equity, diversity, and inclusion. And in fact, 3 of them are equity, diversity, and inclusion. So in large part, what our role is to engage the campus in dialogue around disrupting dominant narratives and to create ways where we want you to bring your full self into the school. So be yourself, bring all of your identity with you, and have it recognized that this is a school that is safe, this is a school that protects your dignity, and that everybody is welcome. On the next slide is my boss. You will see Dr. Denise O'Neill Green. She is our Vice President of Equity and Community Inclusion and the leader of all of the change that's been happening, and part of the reason why Ryerson has been listed as one of Toronto's and one of Canada's top diversity employers for the last 5 years. So really being able to look at change from the senior levels, so from the Senate and the Board of Governors, all the way down through to working with students and all of our staff are on the ground in terms of affecting change and making this an environment that students say they feel safe, they feel that they feel part of the community. On the next slide, you will see just a bit about our team, who our folks are. There are 6 units under the umbrella of OVP ECI, Office of the Vice President, Equity and Community Inclusion. I'll refer to it from this point as OVP ECI. Of the areas that we have the accessibility area. So folks who are experiencing or navigating the world with barriers of any kind or have disabilities and need some additional space or need some conversation around how to navigate Ryerson, our accessibility area is looking at the campus from a systemic point of view in terms of how do we make change for the campus. So things like accessibility started with, for example, ramps. Ramps were designed for a particular reason. Now a lot of us use them. So that's sort of the way that we start to think about accessibility is how do we create the space for one, but that becomes something that all folks can gain access to. Our next area is our strategic partnerships and development. This is an area that's basically taking a look at how Ryerson does its equity, diversity, inclusion activity and brings it outside of the campus. We're doing workshops and training and developing organizations across the country. We're engaging in presentations and conferences and constantly looking at helping folks to understand the reason why equity, diversity, inclusion is so important to us. It's the fact that inclusion begins at home. It's the fact that if you're not being intentionally inclusive, you may be unintentionally exclusive, which means that someone is being othered or treated differently, and we want to change the environment on those things. So our strategic partnerships area and our development area is looking at how do we branch out and do work across the country as well. Our third area there is our human rights services. This is the area that takes a look at if you are someone who is of different background, different religion, different information about who you are as an individual. The Human Rights Code has 17 protected grounds that say you're allowed to be whoever you are, and if someone has a problem with any part of those, that person, that's their issue, not yours. If they decide to bring it up, the Human Rights Office actually takes a look at that in terms of determining whether or not there's a problem within our discrimination harassment prevention policy. So it's an opportunity for folks to understand that if something is happening, this is a place you can go to ask questions as to why is this like this, and if they're not the right spot, they'll send you to the space they should be sent to. The next area is our education, awareness, and outreach area. That's the area that I oversee. In this space, what we're doing is, remember as kids, we've been taught not to talk about certain things. Don't talk about race, don't talk about religion, don't talk about some of those important conversations. Well, that's what I get to spend my day doing. My job is all about how do we engage folks in these conversations to have them understand what it truly means to be different, and what it means to be similar, and what it means to be inclusive, what it means to be accepting of people and who they are, where they're coming from, and just allowing that to be part of the process. So at Ryerson, because you're doing a lot of group work, you may be working with somebody that's totally different from you. And how do you become comfortable with that? How do you engage in those conversations? So we work with students, staff, faculty all over the campus to be able to engage in those deeper conversations to really understand who is the individuals that are in the spaces that you're in, how is material becoming what I call culturally relevant, and that is where staff and faculty are taking a look at not just what I have to present and what I want to talk about, but who's in the room and how do I make sure that this information is relevant to the people in that room. So for example, if we have a body of students that are coming from, let's say, India, for example, some of the examples of materials that might get used in a classroom might reference Indian authors or Indian scholars as a way of ensuring that students actually see themselves in the materials. One of the things we're really, really big on is that students actually get that opportunity to see who I am and how that relates to them as individuals. Our next area is the research planning and the assessment area. This will be the area that when you go to sign up for classes, there's the student diversity self-ID piece. We're really trying to take a look at who are our students. Part of the approach that we've taken is in order for us to be really able to be inclusive at Ryerson and to better understand how we meet the needs of our students, we have to know who they are. Ryerson is one of the first institutions in Canada to actually start collecting information on our students as a way of us being able to truly decide on what kind of materials are being presented, who's represented, who isn't, really digging into having a better understanding of who's in our community. So it's really about community building. And the last area is our Aboriginal Initiatives area. This is the area that is actually leading the charge around indigenizing our campus. So it's the group that has the Aboriginal Education Council, so anything that comes in with an Indigenous frame. These are the folks that actually have the first read of a document or a first read of a situation and provide feedback for the campus in terms of how would we respond to this? How do we engage with this? They're also the group that have the Ryerson Aboriginal Student Services area. So students are from our Indigenous communities that are looking for spiritual or traditional sort of supports can go to the Aboriginal Student Services to gain access to information and to learn more about how do they acclimatize to the campus, how do they engage with the campus, how do they become more of a stronger part of Ryerson. They also house within the Aboriginal Initiatives area one of the only Aboriginal human resources consultants. So this person's sole responsibility is to bring more Aboriginal and Indigenous people to our campus. And so we're really proud to say that in the last year, we were able to add 9 new faculty members from Indigenous backgrounds to Ryerson. So really starting to see increases in the numbers of folks who are actually coming to the campus and attending the campus. If we go to the next slide, you're looking at a crowd of people, and in that crowd is your orientation week. This is what an orientation week will look like for you, orientation days. And you'll see there in the bottom left hand of the screen, you'll see Dr. Green. She's so cool, she wants to take selfies with the students. So she couldn't get in the middle of the 3,000, so she just, on the stage, she just decided to grab a snapshot to say, here we are. So some of the things that we do in our division is we offer a lot of events. So celebrations, commemorations, guest speakers, we have panel discussions, we do training. So we're really engaging in how do we help educate the community about who's here and really get a better sense of how do we create that space where everyone feels that they are welcomed and included. We offer support around identity. So Self-Nations folks who are self-identified, Inuit, Métis, Canadian Indigenous folks, lots of opportunity for folks to get some sort of support. Also students from the Black community. We have a Black Students Lounge that recently opened, giving an opportunity for students to actually go and actually do some capacity building and really do some development around what's it mean to be different in this space. Other supports that we offer are, again, supports around students with disabilities. We have a walking tour for anybody with a disability to take a look at how do you navigate our campus. Our campus can be, it's a fairly big campus, so it's an opportunity for you to go on this walking tour to actually get a sense of how to navigate the campus without necessarily having to go back outside. There are ways that you can go from Young and Gould all the way over to Church and Gould without having to go outside. And so the walking tour helps folks actually navigate that. Coaching advice and the other activities that we do, we're engaged in, like, again, the human rights concerns. So anywhere where someone feels that they're being discriminated or harassed based on who they are in the world, or if there's an issue around an element of sexual violence, the Office of the Human Rights Services will be able to navigate those conversations and to be able to help give you some guidance and supports around where to go, what to do, and if need be, they will engage in an investigation to actually provide you with a sense of normalcy and bringing it back to the campus so that you can feel that you are there to do what you need to do, which is become strong global citizens, to go out and really navigate the world to make Ryerson look good. Last part of what we have is we do offer a lot of internships or connecting to internships around the Career Boost program. We hire students throughout the year to actually work on projects, to work on events that we might be having, to be able to engage with the campus in a different way. So largely running through ways of how do we really help students grow and develop and understand what it means to be truly inclusive in our society. So this is an opportunity for you to really gain access to some tools and information and ways of being able to fully be inclusive and make sure that everyone around you feels the same. On our last slide is the element of how do you find us. It'd be great to see you connect with us on whether it's our Twitter or our Facebook page, send us an email. We're always trying to look at ways that we can actually maximize the work that we're doing and engage with students. And engage with students where they are. So whether it be through one of our community networks for staff and faculty, through student groups that we might be engaging with, just trying generally to engage across the campus so that we have you feeling that this is your campus. Ryerson is your space. We are there to support you every step of the way. And again, part of what we want to do is to have you remember, I'm not different from you, I'm different like you. Ryerson is a place for all of you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I'll pass it on to Stefan, I believe.
Amazing. So we're actually going to pass it along to Sierra. Thank you so, so much, Daryl, for that terrific overview of the amazing work that your office is doing, really helping to make Ryerson such a special institution. So thank you. And I'm going to do sort of a little hat toss now over to Sierra, who we can see there, who is a fabulous current Ryerson student who's going to speak a little bit about athletics and recreation. Go for it, Sierra.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Sierra, like I've already been introduced, and I will be presenting on behalf of Athletics and Recreation. I'm in my third year at Ryerson in Graphic Communications Management. I work in the Customer Service and Outreach Unit in the department, and we oversee the daily operations of the RAC and the MAC service desks and the involvement outreach initiatives on campus, such as first year orientation. In our next slide, you'll see we have our mission. So our mission statement is that athletics and recreation is to champion a spirit of belonging, pride, and excellence, which enriches the academic experience and develops the whole student. We focus on health and well-being, student experience, and engagement in our spaces. Ryerson Recreation helps you integrate movement into your regular routine. Why? Well, regular physical activity actually benefits your academic and your work performance, your individual well-being, and it helps you make connections to others in our community. As hard as it may seem at first, finding ways to dedicate time to fitness and health helps you be more creative, think more clearly, reduce stress, study better, and maintain positive relationships. In our two fitness facilities, the Recreation and Athletic Center, or the RAC, and the Mattamy Athletic Center, or the MAC, as well as through initiatives across campus, we strive to provide safe and inclusive spaces for you to move in a diversity of ways. So in athletics and recreation, we have something for everyone. We want you to get involved. We want to see you in our spaces, participating in our programs. And how can you do that? By utilizing your membership, which is included in your tuition as an undergraduate or graduate student. Our focus on health and well-being and the relationship to academic performance embodies our mission in athletics and recreation to develop the whole student and enrich the student experience. In our next slide, you'll see a picture of the MAC. The Maple Leaf Gardens actually opened in 1931, and it was home to the Toronto Maple Leafs until it closed in 1999. It opened as the Mattamy Athletic Center, or the MAC, which is the picture shown, in 2012. It now shares the space with Loblaws on the first floor. The second and third floors hold our two-court gymnasium, fitness center, studio, and arena. The MAC is the hub for all of our varsity games, which can be attended for free with your One card, which is just another name for the student card. The Mattamy Athletic Center is roughly a 7-minute walk north of campus at the corner of Carlton Street and Church Street. In our next slide, you'll see a picture of our Recreation and Athletic Center, or the RAC, which can be found right in the middle of campus under the Kerr Hall Quad. The main entrance is at the south end of the quad, but it can be accessed through different buildings throughout campus because it's actually in the middle of our indoor paths connecting the Rogers Communication Center to the Student Learning Center. As Daryl said earlier, from all across Gould Street, from Church to Yonge. The RAC opened in October 1987, and it is our main recreation hub, housing 2 gymnasiums, a fitness center, cardio gallery, indoor track, 2 dance studios, squash courts, and a 25-yard pool. We also have 2 Kerr Hall gymnasiums, the upper gym and the lower gym, located in Kerr Hall West, and that's the location for our drop-in recreation and our intramural programs. In our next slide, there's a map of campus. So just to give you an idea of where we're located, the Mattamy Athletic Center is located towards the top of the image, slightly north of campus, while the Recreation and Athletic Center is located in the heart of campus as outlined. So in our next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about the different type of programming and classes that Ryerson Recreation offers. We offer 2 different types, group fitness classes and instructional programs. If you're an undergraduate or graduate student, group fitness classes are included in your tuition. We have more than 30 drop-in group fitness classes. Whether it's your first time in a fitness studio or you're a regular, everyone is welcome to participate and work towards their health and wellness goals. These classes are a great place to start for anyone new to recreation. They're led by certified instructors. They provide an opportunity to work out in a group setting. And there's various types of classes offered, such as Zumba, yoga, spinning, and more. Next, we have our instructional programs. So not to be confused with group fitness, our specialized instructional classes focus on improving your abilities in dance, fitness and mind, body and spirit awareness. Over a 10-week period, you will build your skills each consecutive week in a small group setting with personalized instruction. Certain classes that we offer include kickboxing, Olympic lifting, ballet, and more. In our next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about intramural sports. So recreation offers our different intramural sports, which provide a healthy, competitive, and fun league environment where you can build community, develop new skills, and relieve stress in a sport or sports of your choosing. We have beginner levels, intermediate levels, and advanced levels. Some of the sports that we offer include flag football, basketball, dodgeball, resident sports, women in sport, soccer, ice hockey, and volleyball. In our next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about drop-in and open recreation. So our drop-in programs are offered across a range of sports and formats, including women's only programs, with most equipment available at no cost at our service desks. We aim to offer an opportunity in each sport each day. During open recreation, gyms are available but not designated for any particular activity. Instead, participants share facilities for sport activities of their choosing. Open rec time is typically offered 6:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. across our facilities. In our next slide, we're going to talk about women's only programs. So our women's only programs provide a safe, comfortable, and fun atmosphere for anyone at Ryerson who identifies as a woman. Women includes all cis and trans individuals who identify as a woman. Whether you're just learning to use equipment or looking to get a great workout in a group setting, our women's only programs are designed to encourage women of all abilities to use our facilities and encourage equitable participation in physical activity. We offer designated women's only hours in our RAC Fitness Center and our track for 90 minutes daily, Monday to Friday. If you're looking for something a little more structured and ongoing, our program offerings are a great option. We have two types, recreational or competitive clubs. So if we look at our recreational clubs on our next slide, they welcome all levels and all abilities in a fun learning environment with your Ryerson community. They focus on increasing participation, providing instruction, and creating a social network of individuals within the Ryerson community based on a shared interest in sport. Recreation clubs include archery, badminton, karate, Quidditch, trampoline, and more. All levels and all abilities are welcome. Registration takes place at the beginning of each semester. We have our recreational club's contacts listed on the screen here, and this information is also available on our website. Our next slide takes a look at our competitive clubs, which focus on preparation and participation in competition against other post-secondary or adult teams and clubs in an exhibition schedule or organized league. Competitive clubs include barbell, baseball, cricket, cross country, dragon boat, esports, table tennis, and water polo. Competitive clubs have tryouts and regular practices. We have our competitive clubs contacts listed on the screen here, and this information is also available on our website. All right, so here we have our three varsity teams, which are badminton, fencing, and figure skating. In February of this year, our OUA Figure Skating University team competed in the OUA Figure Skating Championship, which was held at our very own Mattamy Athletic Center. The contact information for the teams is listed and can also be found online at ryersonrams.ca. For our U Sports varsity teams, the majority of athletes come to the team via a recruitment process with the head coach during their grade 12 year, based on their athletic performance with their school team and or their club team. We recommend getting in touch with the head coach prior to walk-on tryouts. Don't wait until you get to Ryerson to get in touch. There are scholarships and awards available on ryersonrams.ca to review and discuss with the head coach during the recruitment process. On the next slide, we have our contacts listed for the basketball, hockey, soccer, and volleyball teams, which offer both men's and women's. Should you be interested in getting in touch with one of our head coaches, we've provided their contact information. All U Sport varsity teams coaches' contacts are available on our website at ryersonrams.ca. Lastly, I'd like to touch on our employment opportunities. The Athletics and Recreation Department is one of, if not the largest student employer on campus. As I had mentioned, I am a student employee in the Customer Service and Outreach Unit. I'd actually never stepped foot in the RAC before I got hired. Fitness and sports spaces have always felt intimidating to me, so I never felt the need to explore our spaces or our opportunities. A friend of mine worked in the department and encouraged me to get involved despite my hesitations. Since I started, my role has become more than a part-time job. I've built personal and professional relationships. I've fostered a strong sense of pride for the Athletics and Recreation Department, which I never had before, and it's given me a sense of belonging and family. Our department has many different units with employment opportunities, and all positions will be posted through the Ryerson Career Boost website. All right, so that's all for me. I hope that you've all gained some valuable insight into our Athletics and Recreation Department, and feel free to visit us online at ryersonrams.ca or email us at recreation@ryerson.ca, and we will be in touch. You can also check out our social media accounts on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Our handle is @RURecreation. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Sierra, for that terrific overview of all of the wonderful programming that goes on at Ryerson in terms of athletic and recreation. Of course, so many people know the Ryerson Rams. We have so many successful varsity teams, but there is truly so much to the department. I'm always blown away by the recreation programming available to all of our students and community members. So with that, we're going to turn it over to our last presenter of the session. Please welcome Stefan from Student Affairs. Take it away, Stefan.
Hey everyone, good to see you all here. My name is Stefan, and I am the Orientation and Campus Events Facilitator here at Ryerson. So what my role entails is just doing a lot of work around preparing orientation to make sure we're ready to welcome you in August and in September, and providing programming throughout the year to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our different types of students that attend Ryerson. All right, so first, I'm going to talk about international student support. So ISS, International Student Support, provides 6 different types of programs. We have a lot of social support programs such as peer socials and Let's Talk series, where you have the opportunity to connect with people and meet other international students if you are an international student, and learn about different opportunities on campus. We have cultural supports through our local links program. We also have newcomer and family support program, graduate student support programs, financial support through scholarships, awards, and bursaries, such as our emergency bursary, and WISC, which is World University Service of Canada. We also provide immigration support through the forms of group immigration advising, drop-in advising, one-on-one advising, and status letters. The University Health Insurance Plan is pretty much the equivalent to OHIP. The UHIP coverage cards is dispersed through ISS, and we also provide UHIP information sessions if you want to learn more. And we also offer adjustments to enrollment. Next, we have learning support. So we provide a lot of different forms of support for students to make sure that we're meeting the needs of all of our students academically. Some of the different supports that we have are programs that specifically support first-year students. We have different English language practice supports for international students or students who might not have English as their first language. We also provide math, writing, and study skills support. And we have a variety of different specialized programs to really make sure that you are able to create that educational experience based on what type of learner you are. Some of the programs for first-year students include our Jumpstart program. It's a summer program that helps incoming students to get acclimated into the university climate. We have our Academic Edge program, which helps to support students to learn new strategies for learning when they're in a new environment, such as university. We also have supported learning groups for different faculties, such as engineering, science, and faculty of arts. And we also have preparation for our math proficiency tests. Next up, we have Tri-Mentoring program. So Tri-Mentoring program is a great place. The mission statement is to mentor the whole student to find their sense of belonging on campus through their individual experiences. And we offer a wide variety of different types of mentoring. Mentors and students, staff are trained to identify the needs of their mentee, help map out the journey of their mentee, and also link them with the resources that help them to reach their goals and feel part of the Ryerson community. First up, we have peer-to-peer mentoring. It's focused on building community and a sense of belonging within that community. We pair an upper year student with an incoming student in the same program to support their transition into university. All mentors complete a mandatory mentor training and can receive a certification through accomplishing different badges. Career mentoring. So this is focused more on identity exploration. Career mentoring evolved shortly after the peer-to-peer mentoring program was born in 2002 to help upper year students to really gain that industry experience to help with their professional development. So they're actually matched up with a career mentor who's in a career path similar to what they want to go into, and they gain experience from that individual through that type of mentoring. And next up, we have group mentoring. It's focused on connecting folks across difference. So we support students who identify with a specific equity-seeking group. We have 10 different types of group mentoring for 10 different equity-seeking groups, such as Muslim women, Latinx students, 2S LGBTQ+, mature students, Lusophone students, students who speak Portuguese, students who identify with a disability, women in STEM, Philippine X students, Indigenous students, and Black students as well. So TMP has a community portal, which is pretty much just an online platform for program participants to connect, access resources, and seek support. It gives program users more access to points to other mentors and program staff, space to collaborate and better support our campus partners as well. So next up, we have student life and campus engagement, which is my unit within this large and amazing department. So our key programs include orientation. So orientation is approximately 100 events over 5 to 9 days. This year, we're going to be offering some online orientation events and programming to support folks who might not be able to come to campus or may not want to engage in large group activities due to the fact that social distancing and the current climate that we're currently in. And with that being said, all of our events are definitely going to be taking into consideration all of those different social distancing guidelines and regulations to ensure that we have safe events. So don't have to worry too much about all of that. We also have Ryerson to the Core, which is a program that brings students from TTC stations around the core directly to orientation. So we're trying our best to meet students where they're at on their journey to Ryerson. Some of the key events that we host during orientation include SLC Live, Ryerson Orientation Kickoff, and also a body positivity fashion show. And a fun fact, I actually created that fashion show when I was a student. My inspiration for that was just to make sure that everyone had some form of representation when they came to campus and was able to identify with somebody who looked like them. And yeah, it's a little cool fun fact. Moving on into the year, we have our campus events. And so some of our key programs include our first 6 weeks programming, making sure that as soon as you get here, we're supporting you through your first 6 weeks to make sure that you're very, very prepared to embark on your road through Ryerson. Also, we have student initiative funding. So if you ever had a great idea of an initiative that you wanted to spearhead as a student, we offer a lot of funding. We offer over $300,000 worth of funding to student-led initiatives, and the maximum that you could obtain for a new initiative is $5,000. So if you have any great ideas on how you want to better the Ryerson community, let us know, and there's money there waiting. Also, we have our student action series. So we have different events which focus on helping students to really take part in making positive change in the Ryerson community and in the world. So some examples of initiatives that we've done through the student action series include a homelessness campaign where we're able to help support a lot of different local shelters, specifically during the time of the pandemic, which is great. Also, we have interfaith programming, campus events throughout the year. Some of the key events include Last Lecture, our Winter Carnival, Expression Art Festival, which is an opportunity for a lot of artists from Ryerson, which can be alumni or current students, to really showcase some of their artwork. And we accept all types of artwork, regardless of its nature. And also we have a Culture Fest to help people to really feel the multicultural presence on campus beyond just saying, oh, wow, like campus is so multicultural and there's so many food options. We really try to go deep and make sure that we are able to help students to learn about all the different cultures that that come to Ryerson in depth. And yeah, we also have our leadership program. Some of our key programs within the leadership program include the Reach Peer Leadership Coaching. So pretty much students have the opportunity to coach other students. So student leaders in upper years who have already done a lot of the leadership opportunities offered at Ryerson and throughout the world are able to then teach whatever it is that they've learned to students in lower years and first, second year. And it's never too late to register for that program as well. If you're in an upper year, but you still want that learning opportunity, it's still offered. Also, we have volunteer link and community field trips. So if you're interested in volunteering, there's plenty of those opportunities, and we're able to connect you with different opportunities based on what you like to do, and you actually get to go into communities and do positive things. We also have Level Up, which is the co-curricular record, and we have Lead, Blue, and Gold as well. So pretty much it's a leadership program that helps you to really gain a lot of good skills that you can market to employers and also to help you become a better leader. Some of our key events for our leadership program include our Student Leadership Conference, our 6 in 60 Minutes, which is 6 speakers who speak about 6 different ideas within the time frame of 60 minutes. It's really interesting. And there's usually different themes such as women in leadership. And we also have our youth therapy dogs, as you can see that beautiful dog there in that picture. So that's an opportunity for you to just go, de-stress, pet some dogs, and enjoy the rest of your day. Lastly, we have our Ryerson Career and Co-op Center. So we have dedicated career support in faculty through our Career and Co-op Center team. So a faculty support team, we offer career advising and industry engagement. So this could look like different industry events where we have industry professionals coming in and talking about their experience and helping you to really see what it's like to be out there in the field and hear from somebody in the field and see what their perspective of the industry is. We also have 1,000 plus on-campus job opportunities for domestic and international students through our Career Boost program. So these are paid work experiences. And also we have support delivered in class. We focus on skill development, career planning, and assessments as well. So specifically in the Faculty of Art, we have more support. Some of the program highlights that I can talk about are career integration courses that really connect the classroom learning to work and the labor market. And it includes a job shadow within the industry that you want to work in. So that really helps students to see themselves in the profession, ask themselves, is this really what I want to do with my life? And then proceed from there. We also provide networking and community building with external organizations through annual events like Breaking the Ceilings, focus on women in leadership roles in the workplace. We ensure students gain work experience via placements and internship support through expanding the cooperative education program offerings. And lastly, we have 3,000 plus jobs posted annually on Magnet, the job board, specifically for Ryerson students and alumni. And another fun fact, I actually used to work for Magnet back in my great days as a student here at Ryerson. And that's it for me.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that fabulous presentation, Stefan. And I want to take this opportunity to thank all of our presenters today. So that's Daryl, Sierra, and Stefan from the various units across Ryerson University. I want to thank everyone who has been watching as well throughout this presentation, and everyone who's joined us in any capacity for our virtual open house. At this point, we are going to shut down all of our videos and all of our audio, which means you won't see us or hear us anymore. But we are still going to be online until the end of the hour to answer any questions that you may have. I know you've been submitting them throughout the presentation, and our fabulous Q&A team from behind the scenes has been answering them. So thank you as well to the many staff from Ryerson University from all departments who have been helping to chime in their expertise to answer all of our attendees' questions today. I do want to highlight that while you will receive a recorded copy of this webinar over email tomorrow, you will not receive a transcript of the Q&A. So if you got a terrific answer to your question today, you got that link you were looking for, you got that date that you were trying to figure out, whatever it may be, I do recommend that you take a note of it before the session is done at around 4:00 p.m. today. On that note, on behalf of Ryerson University, thank you once again for joining us today for this session. Thank you to all of our presenters. Thank you to all of our back-end Q&A staff for helping to make this fabulous event happen. We hope that everyone and their loved ones are staying safe during these uncertain times, and we look forward to keeping in touch. Bye for now.